Assalamu alaikum. My name is Soraya Janmohamed. So I did this presentation on Tuesday night at the Elevate meeting. However, it didn't record, so I promised I would redo the speech, my lovely talk, and then once it's uploaded on the website, then you've got the slides and the talk together rather than just the slides that may not mean anything if you weren't at the presentation. So firstly, let me thank Marzi for inviting me over to talk about healthy living, something that I'm really passionate about. So a little bit about me. My journey started about 3 years ago when I was quite overweight and quite unhappy with my life, running around home, work, managing the kids, and actually not feeling very fulfilled. I went to a wedding in the summer, and when I came back and I looked at my pictures, I was quite horrified, and that was my turning point. That kind of, for me, was like about time I want to do something about my weight. Oops, So you'll see my before picture. You probably agree that I was quite overweight, but I never really realized. I just got on with life, with my aches and pains that I'd accumulated, with my bad habits, but I was too busy to look after myself. And when I came back from holiday, I decided that I was going to do something about it. So after Ramadan, in the September of 2010, at this point I'd actually given up work for 6 to 10 months. I decided I was going to join a gym and learn how to eat properly. I'd been on many diets, all the Weight Watchers, Slimming World, and it wasn't working for me. Well, it worked temporarily, but I always went back to eating the way I did. And I realized that I just saw them as short-term diets. They weren't something that helped me for the long term. I wanted a plan that I could stick to. I didn't feel like I was on a diet. I just wanted something that helped me lose the weight, keep it off, and actually change my life. And you can see from the second picture, which although was taken recently, I've probably been this size, I've probably been this weight over 2 years. But obviously my body shape has changed as I do more, as I work out differently, I train differently. So let's start the presentation. That's a little bit more about me. So, do diets work? Who's been on a diet? And I think most of you in the room put your hand up. Yeah, most of us have tried a diet before. And the definition, and let me ask the question slightly differently. Who has managed to lose 5 to 10% of their body weight? And I'm sure a lot of you put your hands up. And kept it off for 2 years. That's what success looks like, that you've lost the weight and you've kept it off, not just lost the weight and put it back on. So that's not really success. So some of you might think, yeah, maybe 50%, maybe 60%. Actually, only 5% of people are successful in losing 5 to 10% of their body weight and keeping it off. That's quite low. And the reason is that most people, most diets that are around only focus on the short term. Not many diets are there for the long term because everybody wants instant results. So they're all quick hits, low fat, low calorie. Yes, and you do lose weight, but they don't help you in the long run. And let me explain why. So what happens? So most diets say eat less, exercise more. Yeah, is that right? So what happens when you eat less? You get more hungry, so you start eating again. And what happens when you exercise more? Well, you burn off calories, you burn fat, and guess what? You're hungry again, so you eat more. And the body's constantly trying to compensate. If it's hungry, it tells you, so you eat. If you're thirsty, it should tell you, you drink. So the body is very clever, yeah? But there's 3 things that we need to keep in check. Our hunger, our energy levels, and our cravings. Yeah? So keep that thought in mind about hunger, energy, and cravings, and we'll come back to it a little bit later on. So what does it mean to be healthy? So healthy isn't just about being a particular body shape or size. there is a guideline in terms of ideal, but it's not one point on the scale. There's a range. But being healthy means lots of things to different people. It can mean having good skin. It could mean having great hair. It could mean feeling strong, both inside and out. It could, for some people, it means having no aches and pains. For some, it could be being disease-free. There is so much. This word is a really big word. So it means so many different things for different people. So, and that's why my programs are called Let's Get Healthy Now. I don't believe in let's get skinny now or let's get slim now, because that's not what everybody's looking for. But at the end of the day, we want to be healthy so we can do so much more. Being skinny, fine, you might look nice, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily healthy. We hear so many people, so many things in the paper about skinny people who are not healthy. And the difference is that most diet plans look at weight loss, not necessarily fat loss. So that's why they put on low calories, low fat, but they don't actually tackle the underlying weight loss, underlying weight gain. Why did you put on the weight in the first place? What was missing in your life? They talk about taking food out, but what about replenishing what you're missing? What about the nutrients that you require? So when we eat, I want to tell you what happens when we eat and why does a body store so many toxins and what happens to these toxins. And then we'll just like to touch on what foods we need to eliminate and why, but what can we consume. And then finally, I would like to take you through my healthy principles. So the liver. The liver is where most food is digested and the nutrients are removed. About 100 years ago, our bodies had a really easy time. They just digested fruit, vegetables, some grains and some meat. Nothing too complicated, nothing processed, all very natural or easy to digest. And the liver had a good old life. Now, the liver's job has changed. Oh, let me stop there. The liver now has a lot of food to digest, has lots of different foods. Let's think about it. Lots of processed food. Now, the liver's job has changed. Nowadays, we're exposed to more chemicals, smoking, deodorants, medication we take. I'm not saying bad drugs, but even the medicines the doctors give us. There's so many chemicals in our foods to preserve them. So think about the canning process. How much salt they put in our food to preserve that. Think about the additives and preservatives they put in dried food. So things like tortilla wraps or cakes, they last more than a couple of days that you would expect if you'd made something fresh at home. So the liver has two choices. It processes the food and expels the toxins, or it processes the food and stores it. Actually, the body, we take in so many different toxins that it can't expel it. It ends up just storing it. Let me give you an example. So we talk about fast food. Fast food extremely processed. They did an experiment with the McDonald's and they found that after 145 days, so that's about 4 or 5 months, this is what happened to the burger. It looks the same. It hasn't broken down at all. It has gone hard, which is what you expect if it was just left in the open, but it hasn't broken down. So is this fast food or actually long life food? So if it doesn't disintegrate like this, if it remains like this, can you imagine what it's doing when we consume it in our body? What happens? Yeah, when we eat these kind of processed foods. So let me talk a little bit about traditional diets versus clean eating. So just think, we're overweight and we have a lot of fat stored, and the fat is stored to protect us from all the impurities in our body. As we lose weight by the traditional method of reducing the calories, so a lot of these plans, they allow you to eat chocolate, they allow you to eat crisps. They're just, as long as it's part of your points, it doesn't really matter. So what you're doing is you do lose weight, but your body becomes more toxic because there's got less fat cells, yeah? So it's got less fat, and you're not actually doing anything about removing the toxins. What happens? You quickly rebound. Now the difference is if you go to clean eating and actually giving your body the nutrients it requires, so you start in the same place, but as you lose your weight by eating clean, your body also reduces the impurities because you stop adding any more impurities in your diet. So if you stopped all the processed food, if you stopped all the junk, your body can't store it anymore. It starts releasing it. And as you start releasing it, not only are you losing the fat, you're losing your toxins. So you do become slimmer, you are less toxic, you have more lean muscle, and actually you feel better. You're less likely to rebound because you actually feel better. So let me take you through my healthy principles. So each letter symbolizes one of the principles. And the whole point of the having principles, it's about instilling good habits for life. So going back, it says, let's get healthy now. It's to get healthy now and to remain healthy. It's not about let's get skinny now. It's about building these habits into your life for life. The first one is hydration. Our bodies are made up of water. 70% is made out of water. Without enough water, we experience lots of different side effects. Headaches, itchy skin, our body retains the fat, and worst case is organ failure. And sometimes you'll get the day to think, God, I'm so thirsty. And at that point you think, I haven't had any water all day. So that's quite dangerous is a very strong word, but just think your brain needs water to function, your cells need water to function, your digestive part of your body requires water to digest the food. So every part of your body is screaming for water. Your brain will always take precedent, otherwise, so the fact you get headaches is probably the last stage and your body's saying, there's just no more water for me to take. So eating clean. I keep saying clean eating or eating clean. What does that mean? Eating clean means eating fresh, unprocessed food. Foods are easy to digest. So simple: meat, chicken, fish, fruits, vegetables, good carbohydrates, good fats. There's so much about, I can't eat anything fatty. Coconut's fatty, avocado's fatty. But your body needs fats. Your brain needs it, your joints need it. They're like the oil between your joints. Fat is good for you as long as it's good fat. So watching calories or counting points isn't a long-term living strategy. You need to make good changes, small changes, changes that you can sustain. But what's more important is think about whatever you put in your mouth, what will it give to your body? What nutrients is your body looking for? And am I giving it to it? So sometimes you'll think, I've been eating all day and I just feel hungry. And the reason you feel hungry all day is that, think about it. What have you been eating? Have you been eating a good clean diet, or have you been eating quite a processed diet? If you've been eating quite a processed diet, your body says, that was really delicious, but I got nothing from it. Can I have some real food? And then you put something else in your mouth. And again, if it's not good, your body says, that was nice too. What about some real food now? And it continues. So the A is for attitude. The attitude is so important. Just think about kids when they want to do something. If they say, I can't do it, Mummy, I can't do it, they become unable to do it unless we start encouraging them. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Whether it's taking their first step or learning to ride a bike or learning to skip, these little things, if they put their mind to it, it works. They are successful. And the same thing about losing weight. And it's not just about losing weight, it's keeping it off. There's no point putting all that effort, losing the weight, and then thinking, I've got to my ideal size. I can go back to the way I was before. Go back to the way I was eating before. How does that help? Why would you want to go back to the way you were and you were unhappy. Why would you go back to that way of eating and then go back to being unhappy again and feeling that you need to go on a diet? Lifestyle. So we're talking about, well, it's only about food in, food out, exercise, and water. What else is important? And I say sleep. And people say, what does sleep have to do with eating and losing weight? Well, let me turn it on its head. What has stress got to do with being healthy and keeping your weight in track? So stress has no calories. Yeah, but if you're stressed, how many people turn to food as their strategy of survival? So although stress has no calories, when we're stressed, we eat. So that has a very adverse effect. At the same time, when we don't get enough sleep, if our body doesn't get the rest, it doesn't go into the fat burning mode. It needs the rest to be able to do that. It needs good quality sleep. It's not just, some of it's about how many hours you get, but also going to bed on time. Going to bed early even. Your body, it's no point going to bed at 12 and think, oh, flopped and absolutely exhausted. Learn to relax, and then wind down and then go to bed. Training. Now, who knows the difference between training and an exercise? I learned that, so when I was on my course, my personal training course, a couple of my colleagues who were around the room, they were asking each other, oh, how often do you train? Where do you train? What are you training in? What is your goal? And I thought, that's a strange one. I always do my exercise. Oh yeah, I go swimming occasionally, and I might go to an aerobics class, but they're using the word training. And as I learned, training means that you're aiming for a goal. So athletes train. They train to beat a time. They train to be able to lift for heavier weights. Runners train to run faster or for longer. Yeah. So the benefit that you get from having a training schedule is that you challenge your body and you improve. Just by exercising, your body gets used to the same level of exercise. And if you don't challenge your body any harder by going quicker or lifting heavier, your body gets used to it. And then you'll say, but I go to the gym, I do all this gym every week, but I'm seeing no different, because you're doing exactly the same thing. You're not treating your body, you're not taking your body to the next level. The other point is that you don't need to do hours of training. Yeah, you can have quick interval training, 15-20 minutes a day, and be just as effective. It's knowing what to do and having the right exercise and the right plan behind you. Nearly there. Habits. So habits, it takes 40 days to make a habit, but it also takes 40 days to break a habit. All these short-term diets we follow, the 7-day diet or 1-month diet, good for a quick hit, but the reason we go back to our old ways is we don't give it enough time to build these strategies into our everyday life. We need to follow habits. Not just food. It's about going to bed at 10 o'clock every day, not just once a week. It's about drinking enough water every day. Yeah, going to the gym on a regular basis. Make it a habit. Yeah. So part of the program I have, I show you how to make things a habit, how you get the right support to be able to instill these habits into your life. Finally, you have to remember you're the most important person. And if you don't trust yourself, if you don't value yourself, you won't be able to make a long-term change. By following these healthy principles and working together, I can help you instill these habits into your life, and that you start enjoying the way you look and enjoying the life you have. So we're in this lovely surrounding terms of Riverside Gym. So I wanted to let you know what I do that's different. My programs teach you how to make changes for life. So it's not just come, do the exercise, go home. We have group discussions. We make I want to help you make a difference to yourself. All the exercise programs are effective. I am constantly challenging you that they're not at the same level. We progress week on week. It's all in a safe environment. It's ladies only. There's no issues with hijab or music. Small friendly groups. Yeah. All my programs are backed by evidence, and you get long-term results by having such programs. And we've had excellent success rates, whether they're people who've done my short-term programs or my long-term programs. Yes, I know I'm saying you need to have good habits for life, but the short-term programs or the long-term programs, they both follow the same principles. For some people, they want a quick hit for a particular wedding occasion, but then I ask them to move on to a longer-term program, so an 8-week program where they get all the support they need to make these changes permanent. So also, finally, unlimited support. I'm always available, Facebook, by phone, occasionally for Skyping as well. And I have different programs for different people.